get Blessing to start the broadcast.
Leslie, can you start the broadcast, please? She was going to turn us on at 7:30. She's filling in for Blessing. And I will, it's over here. And to stop the share for a second. Just turning down this. Okay, I'm going to start the recording. We all ready?
Great. Good evening, everyone. This is Chair Brendan Magnan. I'm going to call
Hold
to
on,
order
Brendan.
the.
My apologies. Got it.
No problem. Good evening, everybody. This is Brendan Magnan, Chair of the Inland Wetland Agency. I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the February 22nd regular meeting. Lisa, please call the roll.
Ranjit Bahav, Daniel Bedecker, Jim Connors,
Jim Connors is here. I need to ask to unmute him. My apologies. That was a typo on my part. I got a little excited with all the twos. It's actually February 16th.
Matthew Connors, Dave DeFlameri, Heather Donaldson Gladue, Steve Munson,
Here.
Jerry Panico,
Here.
Lisa Tryon, and Brendan Magnan.
Here. And let the record reflect that Daniel Bedecker is here. Let's see. At this point, just a few proceedings to remind everyone, in order to effectively run the business of the agency and to comply with all statutory requirements, in accordance with Freedom of Information Act and Governor Lamont's executive orders, this meeting is being recorded and will be made available on the City of Milford's website and is being broadcast live on YouTube at the moment. During this meeting, if members of the public or the commission would like to speak, please use your raise your hand feature via Zoom. Once recognized by me, the chair, you will be given an opportunity to speak. Please state your name and address prior to making a statement. At this time, I'd like to invite everybody to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under
God, indivisible,
with liberty
and justice for all.
Great. Thank you, Mary.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to note that Commissioner Heather Donaldson Gladue has called in. She was unable to get in on her computer.
Thank you, Mary Rose. Good evening, Commissioner Donaldson Gladue. At this time, I'd like to call or move to agenda item C. Mary Rose, if you could please show the agenda. At this time, this is the public comments limited to 5 minutes on topics not otherwise on the agenda. So this is public comments on topics not otherwise on the agenda. Seeing none, moving on to old business. Mayor Rose, can you introduce item 1, please?
1 second. Now somebody in. Alderman Smith. This is item D1. It's IWA 210086, 1500 Windward Road. A public hearing had been scheduled for this item for this evening. We've had to postpone that until March 2nd at 7:30 p.m. due to a publication error. The hearing will not be held this evening. I'm reminding all commissioners seated for this application that if they have any questions, to please email or call me, and I will forward those questions to the applicant so that they may be answered at the public hearing, which will be held in 2 weeks. There is no action to be taken on this item this evening.
Thank you, Mary Rose. At this time, we'll move on to item D2. Could you introduce this one, please?
This is a violation IWC 2022-003. It's 615 Plains Road. It was a violation that was issued to Andrew and Jason Julian for work within 100 feet of a wetland without permit on their property at 615 Plains Road. The Julians were in the process of obtaining permits to renovate their property to make it a bus storage facility and dispatch maintenance facility with an outdoor fueling station. In reviewing the proposal for their planning and zoning application, I visited the site and found that the work had been essentially completed. And it was adjacent to an intermittent water course. I issued an order on January 13th. That order was upheld and modified by this board on the 19th of January. And the agency required that erosion controls be installed by February 1st, and that a professional wetland scientist report and planting plan and bond calculation be submitted by February 28th. Share photos. The erosion controls were installed they were installed by January 27th. They made it in before we had the snowstorm on that Saturday. Project engineer Ron Wassmer of Connecticut Civil Group submitted the site photos of the fiber wattle installation. Mr. Wassmer also submitted a plan with the proposed stabilization plantings. The professional wetland scientist report didn't make it into the office today, but we do have with us this evening Mr. Bill Kenny of William Kenny Associates. That professional wetland report and bond calculation was not required by this board until the 28th of February. The applicant is trying to go before the Planning and Zoning Board, whose next meeting is March 1st. It's the day before our next meeting. And they've asked if the board might consider allowing them to go forward to the zoning board, which would require a letter of referral from us or a letter of report from us. I can share these photos. Mr. Wassmer's on the call if he wants to chime in. These were taken on January 27th. It shows the fiber wattles have been installed on the slope next to the intermittent water course. The intermittent water course is on the adjacent property. So the property line is roughly where the fiber wattles are.
Good evening, Ronald Wasmer, professional engineer, land surveyor, office at 158 Research Drive. I don't have anything particular to add to what Mary Rose has just expressed. We have been working with Bill Kenny and we modified the landscaping plan. I believe Bill is on the Zoom meeting this evening, and he will be preparing a letter shortly to outline or more specifically detail the recommendations to the planting plan that my office prepared. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Wassmer. Mr. Kenny, is there anything you'd like to add for the record?
Sure. Good evening, Bill Kenny. As Ron indicated, I have been coordinating with them with regard to their planting plan that they prepared. And looking on this plan that you see before you, the north end of the property is on the right, and the drainage ditch or intermittent water course is down in that lower right-hand corner. So there's a 10-foot wide strip of vegetated area between the edge of the parking lot and the property line. And so what we're proposing is to do a wildflower meadow mix, or establish a wildflower meadow using a seed mix in that 10-foot wide strip. And it's a seed mix provided by New England wetland plants out of Massachusetts. And it's quite a variety of species, and they're all native to the Northeast. So I think it's a good naturalized buffer that'll be established there between the parking lot and the property to the north, to the right on your screen.
Thank you, Mr. Kenny. Mary Rose, in your expert opinion, is this a matter of just the timing, are you comfortable with a referral to the zoning P and Z committee? I know speaking for myself, we've reviewed this now. This will be the third time. I'm comfortable with moving it forward. As you suggested, are you comfortable with that?
I am. The Julians, when they came to the hearing on the violation, wanted to accommodate, stabilize. They stabilized very quickly, and they've gotten their consultants to create this plan for us. And it's just a timing thing. The agency had required that there be a bond for the planting, which would be basically a bond for the seed mixtures, which, we can, if you want, you can do tonight, or we can do on the February 2nd meeting, is put a date on when we'd like that bond submitted by, and Mr. Kenny could perhaps give us a date that the seed mixture should be sprayed by or installed by.
What is the agency's pleasure?
I agree to give them the letter to go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Connors. Anyone else?
Um,
Johnson?
I would agree. I think it's proceeding as quick a pace as we could expect. So I would give them the go ahead on this.
Yeah, I mean, I would be happy to release the bond contingent, or sorry, release the violation contingent upon what you said, Mary Rose.
So,
Contingent on the plantings being done by a certain date that maybe Mr. Kenny, you could perhaps make a suggestion based on reasonable time frame for seeding.
So that's going to be springtime, basically.
Yes, yeah. And certainly between the middle of April and the middle of May, I'd be good to get that done.
okay, so what I would recommend, I hadn't written a motion for that because I didn't know that we were going to get the paperwork in this quickly. What I would suggest would be a motion to require a bond to be submitted by April 1st. And the plantings, the seed mixtures, because the plantings that are shown on this plan are for the zoning requirements. Seed mixtures to be installed by May 31st or June 1st. You don't know what's
What the weather's gonna
springtime.
be. Yeah.
Well, I'm asking Mr. Kenny. Mr. Kenny, what's your professional opinion on date?
I was by the middle of May.
By
May
May
15th.
15th.
Yeah.
Okay. 15th. And so we'll inspect at that time, and then we'll inspect, probably should get germination in about a month and a half. So we'll inspect the end of June, and if that time it's stabilized, then we can release the violation.
Well, I'll make a motion to do what Mary Rose just spoke.
Okay, motion to require the bond to be submitted by April 1st, and the seed mixtures as specified by Mr. Kenny to be installed by May 15th.
Motion has been made. We have a second on the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstains? Mr. Munson, you were voting in favor. I heard your aye after I called them.
Yes, I was unmuting. Sorry.
No problem. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Wasmer, Mr. Kenny, thank you for your time and effort. And
Thank you, commissioners and staff, for helping us move through this at a rapid pace.
no problem.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
gentlemen.
Next up on the agenda, consideration of the minutes from the previous meeting. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes from January 19th as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Motion has been made.
Second.
We have a second from Munson. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstains?
I think I need to abstain because I wasn't at the meeting.
Correct. Thank you, Commissioner Tryon. Motion carries. Mary Rose, staff report.
All right, just a quick report. Basically, it's all in the notes that we sent out to you, but no real site changes. We did have the Marsh Street application get taken out. That house will probably begin demolition in the next week or so. All other things stay the same. Wheeler's Woods is ongoing. Actually, I think they're getting their COs this week if they didn't get them earlier. Just a reminder, read the notes about ex parte communication, doing outside research, DEP, signing up for DEP training. And if you have any questions or need a different way to receive your plans, or I need any new contact information from you, please get it to me. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Mary Rose. And as far as the chair's report, item I, we do have the public hearing that's been rescheduled for March 2nd. Please make every attempt to be on video and to be prompt so that the meeting can start promptly. Mary Rose will have quite a job bringing everybody in, so plan on attending a few minutes early. And again, what Mary Rose said applies, right? No independent research, no ex parte communication. This board prides itself on deliberating in this forum, and let's continue that. Thank you, everyone. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you,
No.
everyone.